What's up, guys? Welcome back to the vlog for number 2. We are at King's Room today. Just got out of work and wanted to put in a good session. So we are at King's Room today, just south of Grand Rapids, for a 1-2 session. I think max buy-in here is 200, so we will be in for that. And let's get right to the action and run it up. We play a few small pots to begin the session. Then we look down at ace 7 off in the cutoff. We have a under the gun limp, and we raise it up to $8. The small blind calls, but the under the gun ends up 3-betting to $27. And he's got about $70 behind, so playing pretty shallow here. We end up making the call, and so does the small blind. So we go 3 ways to a flop, which comes out ace, queen, 2 with 2 clubs. With $83 in the pot, the under the gun player bets 31, about 1/3 size of the pot. He's got about 40 behind right now, and we're not going anywhere with top pair just yet, just in case he is on a club draw or a straight draw. So we call here, and the small blind folds. So we go heads up to a turn, which comes out the deuce of diamonds, and it pairs the board, which is good for us. So our ace with a weak kicker is looking to chop this one. With $145 in the pot, the under the gun player goes all in for around $40, and we're pretty much calling for a chop here. Maybe even he could have a club draw yet, or king queen, king jack, but we're definitely not going to fold for such a small bet. So we end up making the call, and the river comes out the jack of diamonds, so no club on the river. He flips over, his hand says he missed, and we show our a7 and take down a $225 pot. In this next hand, we look down at ace queen offsuit on the button. There's a middle position raised to $20. That's a pretty big sizing for this game, seeing how it's 10 times the big blind. Our hand is just a little too strong to be folding here, so we're going to make the call for 20, and the blinds get out of the way. So we're going heads up to a flop, and we're sitting with about 350 in our stack. He's sitting around 300, so we're pretty deep here. The board comes out 5-9-6 with 2 hearts. Seeing how that's going to hit our range way more than it is his, we're going to try to steal this one down the road, and he's going to lead out for $20, about half the size of the pot, and we make the call. The turn comes out the 7 of diamonds with $80 in the pot. He bets 40, and I think this is where I played this one wrong, being how we wanted to steal this. We should have raised here, but we end up making the call. I think if we would have raised, you would have probably thought about having a straight, maybe even pocket 8s, pocket 9s. We have all of the low pocket pairs, so we could definitely be having a set, even a straight. He could put us on a heart draw, but this board texture is just so much better for our range than it is for his. So I think we should have raised here instead of calling. But we make the call for 40, and we go to a river, which is the 6 of diamonds. So it pairs the board. There's 4 cards to a straight, and he bets a small sizing of $20 into about 160. And this is the time where we need to make a play. With ace high, it's definitely not going to be good. Even his 1 pair holdings, aces, kings, queens, maybe ace king, are definitely not going to like this spot. So we're going to put him to the test, and I think we should have put a little bit more here, but we end up making it 125, so it's just another 100 to him, which doesn't really sound like that much, but I didn't really want to look like we were trying to push him off his hand. I wanted it to look like we were kind of value betting our hand. He goes deep in the tank, thinks about it for a long time, looks like he's going to fold. In my mind, I think he's going to fold. I think he's going to fold. But oh wait. Nope, we're playing low stakes. Nobody can fold their big pairs here. He ends up making the call. We flip over ace queen, and lo and behold, he flips over kings. So he's going to take down this nice pot with us trying to bluff on the river.
So we add on for 100 before looking down at king 10 of spades. So with about 170 in our stack in the low jack, with a under the gun raise to 12, we opt to raise to $37 here, and the under the gun player actually folds. So we take down this pot without being contested and seeing a flop. So we lose a few small pots and actually end up adding on for another 100. With about 190 in our stack now, we look down at king 3 offsuit on the button. And when we're stuck money, we like to put money in. So we have 2 limpers in front of us on the button. We raise it up to $12 with king 3 offsuit. Not optimal. Do not recommend playing this way. We are just stuck and are trying to make a move. So the only caller we get is in the cutoff, and we go heads up to a board that comes out 8-8 deuce with 2 diamonds. With 27 in the pot, the cutoff checks, and knowing that this is not going to be on my opening range, we are going to check this one back. And the turn comes out the king of spades, and he checks to me, and we're going to just check this one for deception. So we check back. The river comes out the 7 of clubs. The cutoff checks to me. I bet 25, and he is a non-believer and calls the 25, so we take down this one. With about 270 in our stack now, we look down at pocket 8s in middle position. We raise it up to $10. We get called by the cutoff, and the under the gun +1 calls as well. And the board comes out queen 6 ace with 2 diamonds. Knowing that this is going to hit our opening range out of the middle position, we are actually going to do a C bet of $20, trying to size up a little bit, see where we're at, take a nice big stab, looking strong on this flop. And the cutoff actually calls, and +1 makes the call as well. So we're going 3 ways to a turn, which comes out the 9 of spades. Now, seeing how we have 2 callers behind us, we're going to just let them bet or check and see what they want to do on this turn card. So we actually make the check, and it actually checks around. So we go 3 ways to a river, which comes out the 10 of spades. And we're not really going to just bet into 2 other opponents after being called on the flop. We probably should take a stab with this one with middle to bottom pair, but I don't think it's really a good idea to do that. And so we check, and it gets checked around again. We flip over our 8s, and they are definitely not good. The opponent shows Jack 10, so we kind of got missed on the river, but that's all right. We probably lost the minimum.
Guys, just a little update mid-session. Not getting very good cards here. Not running good either, but we are in for 400, and we're sitting with about 400, so not a horrible session so far. Hopefully we can get some decent run good here going and chip up fast, because I'm getting kind of tired. Had a long day of work, but I do want to go over a hand with you guys that I had my phone charging, so I didn't get to record. So we look down at queen 9 of clubs out of the under the gun. We just limp. The button raises to 22. The small blind calls, and the big blind calls as well. So we go 4 ways to a flop, and the flop comes 8 deuce 9 rainbow. Action checks around to me, and I'm just going to check this top pair over to the pre-flop raiser, and he ends up betting 30, and we're sitting right around 125. effective, and everybody pretty much has us covered. The small blind ends up calling, big blind folds, and I think this is a good spot just to get it in here with top pair. It really shouldn't hit his opening range unless he has an overpair. Nobody 3-bet. So I actually rip it all in with top pair, and the button folds, but the small blind actually calls. So we go to a run out, which comes 7 on the turn and 6. No flush draws, but we have a horrible run out for our hand. We flip over our top pair, and it's good. He says that he had 10-7 for an open ender and ended up hitting the 7. So we take down a pretty good pot there, getting us just over even on the day. But we're going to get back in there and try to run it up.
All right, so we look down at Ace King of Hearts, a beautiful hand. And we have 2 limpers to us in middle position. We actually raise it up to $12. The hijack calls, the small blind calls, and under the gun +1 comes along as well. So we go 4 ways to a flop, which comes out 6, ace, 7 with 2 clubs. And small blind checks, but the +1 player actually goes all in for about $85. And I'm thinking about what to do here with 3 people behind. I don't really want too many people continuing, but also I do want them to continue with their draws. But they will have all of the sets here. I'm pretty polarized to my hand if I just call, so everybody will know that I have an ace here if I just call. So I decide to just isolate the +1 player and go all in myself for about 135, and everybody else folds, so we go heads up to a run out, which comes the 9 of hearts and the queen of hearts. The +1 player shows ace 8 offsuit, and we flip over our ace king and we take it down. With about 250 in our stack, we're in the under the gun +1, and we look down at 10-7 of clubs. Knowing that this table is not really raising or 3-betting too often, we just kind of want to see a flop with this hand. So we limp in, and it actually gets limped around and checked by the big blind. So we go 3 ways to a flop, which comes out 10-8-5 rainbow. With $8 in the pot, it gets checked to me. I bet $5, and both players make the call. The turn comes out the 3 of clubs, so we're sitting now with a flush draw. With $23 in the pot, it gets checked to me, and I think we need to continue here with our top pair and flush draw now. So we end up betting out $16. The big blind calls, but the under the gun player folds. So we're going heads up to a river, which comes out the 3 of hearts, pairing the board. And with $55 in the pot and top pair, weak kicker, I think we need to actually make a decent value bet here and try to get some very thin value from our top pair. Not really knowing what he has, but I'm thinking he probably has a misdraw and maybe even an ace high, and we could get a thin call from him with an ace high. So we're going to just bet 25 on the river, but unfortunately the big blind folds. After being card dead for a little over an hour, we're getting super bored. We look down at queen 3 of diamonds on the button. We just want to see a flop. We want to play. So we limp in, and it gets limped around. So we go 3 ways to a flop, which comes out 8 queen king with 2 diamonds. We have middle pair with a flush draw, and it gets checked to me on the button, and we're going to make a bet just to pretty much take a stab at it with our draw and middle pair to see where we're at, and we're going to bet $8. The small blind and big blind end up calling. So we go 3 ways to a turn, which comes out the 2 of clubs, and it gets checked to me, and we're not going to slow down with our flush draw and middle pair here. The 2 of clubs doesn't change anything, so if we were good on the flop, we're still good on the turn. We bet 16 and they both fold, so we take down another pot. In this hand, we look down at King Jack offsuit in the cutoff. There's a middle position raise to $6 and one caller. We actually elect to 3-bet this hand to $32, trying to make a play. And by my surprise, both opponents fold. So we take down this pot uncontested. This next hand is a little tricky, but we look down at Ace-Jack offsuit in the low jack. There's a $4 button straddle on. The small blind raises it up to 10, plus one calls, and I think our hand is just a little too strong to be calling a small raise in good position. So we're going to 3-bet up to $23. The small blind calls and the under the gun plus one calls as well. So we go 3 ways to a flop, which comes out 5 Jack Queen with 2 clubs, $71 in the pot. The small blind leads out into us for $25. The plus one folds. So now we have a decision on if we want to call, raise, or fold. And I think the best play here is going to be raising, but we actually end up making the call for 25 to see a turn. And the turn comes out the 10 of clubs. With $121, the small blind bets into us again for 55. Now I think we definitely should be raising here, seeing how that we hold the ace of clubs, and he's definitely probably not on a club draw and probably didn't just hit his flush. He's probably has a made hand and is trying to protect his equity. So we should be raising here and probably take this betting lead and bomb the river, but we actually just end up making the call for 55 because we're a big wuss. So we go heads up to a river, which comes out the 9 of diamonds. This hand's getting even worse. We played it horribly. The small blind checks, and we're a big wuss, so we check back. He shows queen 10, and he takes it down. So we probably could have taken this one down if we would have bet the turn and bombed the river. But who really knows? We are playing small stakes. We did get called down in the previous hand with pocket kings over our ace queen when he should have folded. So who really knows what would have happened? So I think we should have probably made the aggressive play and raised the turn and bombed the river, but who knows to say if he would have even folded. The next hand, we look down at ace 4 of spades in under the gun plus 2. We have a under the gun limp. I raise it up to $8. The button calls, the small blind and big blind call, and the under the gun player comes along as well. So we go 5 ways to a flop, which comes out 2, 3, 6 with 2 spades. We cannot ask for a better flop for our hand. The under the gun actually leads into us for $16, and I think we're just going to take total control with this one and raise him up to 50. The under the gun actually makes the call, and the rest of the field folds. So we go heads up to a turn, which comes out the 5 of clubs. We end up making the straight. He checks to me, and I go all in, trying to get max value with my pretty disguised hand. It shouldn't really hit our range, being that I opened up pre-flop. So he should have been able to call anything like with a pair or a draw, seeing how he called 50 on the flop. So we probably lost a little value there, but it's all right. We're going to get him next time. All right, strap in for this last hand because it is going to be a ride. We look down at ace queen of spades in the hijack. We're sitting with just over $200. The under the gun plus one raises it up to 10. We have a middle position call. I decide to 3-bet to $47. The under the gun calls and the middle position player calls as well. So we go 3 ways to a flop, which comes out ace 7-7 with 2 diamonds. We hit top pair with a queen kicker. The under the gun plus one actually leads into us for $100. And then the middle position player goes all in for less, which is about $85 effective. And I think there's only one play here. We have top pair with a queen kicker on a paired board. Nobody really 4-bet us pre-flop, even though in this game, now that I think about it, they probably wouldn't 4-bet with ace king. So we rip it all in here for about 228, and the under the gun plus one actually makes the call. So we go 3 ways all in to a run out. And we're going to need some help here because the middle position player shows ace 7 and the +1 player shows ace king. So we are definitely the underdog here. We definitely need some help. Please, dealer, throw out a queen so we can at least get some outs on the turn and river, and we can possibly take down a little bit of this pot and not get completely felted. So the turn comes out, and it's a jack of hearts, but then the river comes out, and it's the queen of clubs. We bink the queen, and we are going to take down the $330 side pot. The middle position player is going to get his triple up, but we are not mad at all because we actually get some money back, and I think this is where we're going to just be done.
Alright guys, that's it for this one. I hope you liked this video. If you did, hit that like button, and subscribe is always free. We did get in this game for 400 and we cashed out for 255, making it a loss of $145, which isn't too bad. We did have a 6.5 hour session, so we did run pretty cold, didn't run very good. We did get lucky though, so could have lost a lot more. Not gonna complain. We do win, we do lose. You're gonna see plenty of both on this channel. So buckle up. The next video is gonna be crazy, and I hope you like it. So I'm gonna catch you on the next one. Thanks.